All right, everybody. Today's mission is the beginning of a week-long mission. I'm going to Catalina Island. So if you've been with this page for a while, you know that it's been a long time since the boat, since the boat's been to Catalina. I've actually been to Catalina a couple times on different boats for work and on Limit Stalker, which you may have seen on the page too. Anyways, I'm out here on the bay. Just gonna avoid this sailboat. And I got downtown behind me, but it won't be long until those lights are long gone and the sun falls and the moon comes up and the stars come out, and it's going to be a nice night transit. Welcome aboard. I'm Captain Joe, and this old girl, she's my home, Toko. She's a 1982 Edmunk trawler with a monster in her belly. I've spent the last few years aboard making upgrades, and now she's ready to set off over the horizon. So join me as I say goodbye to life on land in pursuit of my dreams at sea. Hop on board to see how much freedom I can live for. The forecast for this trip, or the transit out anyways, is pretty champagne. It's about as good as I could have asked for. I'm looking at like a 2-foot swell from the west, and then very swells from the south at like 1 and 4 feet, and the interval says anywhere between I think 11 was the shortest, 11 seconds, and the longest being 19. So if I'm on a 19-second south dominant swell on the way basically northwest, we're gonna be, I don't know, I'm gonna be able to cook dinner and fill a wine glass to the brim, and it'll be super comfortable. So of course, we won't know till we're outside of Point Loma, but I got a good feeling that this is going to be a fine transit, and I'm glad because I am single-handing. Single-handing means one person running the boat the whole way. So I got some friends in Catalina with their boats that I'm going to meet. Hopefully they will be able to assist me getting the mooring ball, but if not, I'll figure it out one way or another. And it's going to be a lot of diving, a lot of hanging out, and of course, America's birthday, 4th of July in 2 days. Well, you might have just missed that, but I just had a helicopter fly right overhead. They seem to do that. If anybody knows why, then I would love to know, because it's like every time I'm coming down the channel, they make like 3 passes directly overhead. So if anybody is a pilot out there for the Navy, the SH-60 Seahawk, Romeo and Sierra, please let me know why the heck you seem to drive right over the roof of boats when you're coming in and out at very low altitude. We'd love to know. Okay, so first update on conditions. See, I've got Point Loma behind me, so I'm actually out into open water now. There's a little bit of wind chop that I'll show you in a second, against, basically in my face right now as the wind from the west continues to die. Once that dies though, I think that the forecast is correct about a small, short west swell and a longer period south swell. So hopefully as the sun goes down and this wind dies, it'll get even better. But even as it is, you can see I'm not moving around too much. It's pretty good. update from last night. First, conditions on the way out here, I don't really think they were from the south. I think they're mostly from the west, maybe even a little bit northwest. It was still very comfortable cruise, no problems or anything, but it wasn't quite the champagne conditions I was hoping for. Also, I think I'm not going to recommend the solo overnight transit to most people. I was super tired. I got a little nap in before I left, but I was really tired. So I don't know if that's the best way to do it. Boat ran great. I had no issues, so I'm very thankful for that. But I think the best, if you're gonna do an overnight transit, best to have a couple of crew members so you can rotate through and get some sleep. So I slept most of the morning, just really chilled out, took it easy, and I'll show you where we are. When I say we, I mean myself and some friends who are on a different boat. So come this way. So there's Nick and Lee's boat is back behind this guy. This is Emerald Bay. I gotta look up the name of this rock. It might be Arrow Rock, something like that. And then that faces east, north, back towards the mainland. Overall, I think this place is pretty sweet. I did a little exploratory dive over here on the rocks. I'm gonna take my gun out and see if I can catch something later. But it's pretty rolly. You can see probably right now. So it's kind of like the normal. And when a wake comes through or a bigger wave, we really flop around a lot. So I don't know if that's because I'm anchored on the outside. The moorings back there might be a little bit better, but I think it's just a little bit of an exposed spot. And so back in this way, that's Hen Rock or Ship Rock. And then that's Ship Rock or Hen Rock. And then back around that way gets you into Two Harbors and Cherry Cove and 4th of July Cove and all those. So I just got back from my second or third dive since being out here. It is the 4th of July and went around the corner that way, which I'm not gonna reveal, but if you know where I'm staying, you probably know where it is. Anyways, I had the saddest thing that can happen to a diver happen to me today. I shot a beautiful calico bass, probably like 18 inch, I don't know, 17, 18 inch, legal size is 14. So shot this beautiful, nice, meaty calico and brained it, discharged it, was swimming back to the dinghy, went to put it up in the boat, and it gave one last burst of energy and jumped out of my hands and I lost it. So somewhere out there is an absolute zombie calico surviving, which is disappointing, one, because there goes a good meal for me, but it's also disappointing because that means there's just a damaged fish out there who's probably not going to make it. So that's sad on multiple accounts, but you know, circle of life, he's a survivor. Maybe he'll live a long, healthy life and make his population stronger and more resilient for future generations. But a little bit disappointing. But fact of it is, it's still the 4th of July. There are hot dogs to be had and good music to be listened to.
Okay, Deb, you think you got it?
Yeah.
All right. It's like, don't try to change me.
Don't try to change me.
Well, that'll do it.
Sorry, everybody. How do you want to go down? From the platform again, or from this gate, you think? Probably the step is easier, huh? I'm just in neutral. Let me know if you want me to do anything. Oh. Okay, if I have service, I'll keep you posted too, but I don't know. Adios. So as I'm cruising to another location on the island, I'm kind of realizing that this trip is a bit different from all the previous trips. Obviously, they're always different, right? But this trip in particular, I feel more like a cruiser. Like in the past, it's kind of been cruise out to the island, get a mooring, relax, you know, and don't worry about anything as long as you're on the mooring. But for this one, I spent the first night on anchor, which was cool, and then I spent a night on a mooring. So I moved the boat. Basically, the boat has moved every day that I've been out here. And in the past, I would be, I think, probably kind of hesitant or worried. It was more, my mindset was the fewer times I need to start and stop the boat, the better. But this trip, I've been running the boat every day, and I've got my solar, and so everything's like a little bit more complete picture in terms of having the boat ready for doing more long-term cruising. And I'm on my way to another anchorage, so to be out here for free, and I feel a lot more self-reliant on this trip because I'm anchoring and because I know my power situation is better with the solar, and because I'm using the boat more. It's not just get it to the mooring, I know I'm safe there, go do little stuff close to the mooring until it's time to go home and make the great passage home. It's a much more involved and inclusive, and I'm going more places, and the boat is providing everything for me. And quick hot take, I might make a whole video about this, but I'll go ahead and say it now. I am convinced that the Monk 36 is the best coastal cruiser, or at least best SoCal coastal cruiser under 40 feet. There are some stipulations that I could get into with that about, you know, some conditions to that claim, but I think that this boat is the best platform, and I'm biased for sure, but I've been on some others, and I think that there's some credibility to what I'm saying. So stick around for another video to discuss the Monk 36 in particular, and the things that set it apart from other boats under 40, but just thought I'd throw that out there. So all that said, hot take, Monk 36, best boat under 40 feet for this type of cruising. And then one last thing on the hot take, I definitely need to mention that that's from a power boat standpoint. So I know, and I have my arguments for sailors too, but best power boat under 40 feet, hands down, right here. So we'll talk about that more later. All right, I haven't been doing the best at sunrises and sunsets on this trip for you guys, but here I am. So I think this is my third or fourth night here. I'm quite frankly not keeping track, but here's a good sunset for you. Okay, that's just me. Time out. I'll take a better one. Here we go. Young cruisers, Burgee flying. Sun setting over the Grand Banks 42 and sailing vessel Mahi and some other people that I don't know. Our nice little private beach here. Pretty sweet spot. And then back this way, this is where I dove today. Saw some fish, took one shot, missed, disappointed. I already talked about it, but I really feel like a cruiser on this trip. Meeting other boats, and I'm going over to Mahi for dinner tonight. bringing some of my own food and drink, and just the sharing of culture that happens in the boating world is so fun, and meeting other contemporaries who enjoy the same habits and the same hobbies is really cool. It's a lot of fun. Like, you know, that's what makes this all worthwhile, I guess. You know, I truly enjoy it on my own, and if I went diving by myself today, I'd be a very happy camper. But to be able to go and have a sundowner drink and to go trolling with them, they caught a barracuda that we might be eating tonight. So just all that all together, like, it just completes the picture of why we do this boat life stuff. So that's their boat, Catalina 36. I might get some footage if I can, and I'm definitely trying to get footage of this one over here, the Grand Banks 42. So that'll be a mission for tomorrow. That's tight. Oh, that's cool. Alright, sorry for the engine noise, folks, but just an update. Burning through some battery. Although, okay, first of all, solar panel has been working real hard. It's just too small to keep up, but I kind of knew that going into things. So mostly I'm very satisfied with the production of the solar panel. But it's been 4.5 days now of just sitting on anchor and not charging. So I'm running the engine for a little bit to charge up. And what I found was, when I was looking at my Victron controller, it was only outputting like 25 amps, which this alternator is rated to 100. So a little bit of troubleshooting. I also started to hear the alternator belt squeal, which means it's coming loose. So I went down, tightened that up, and now it's pumping out like 65 amps at like 1,000 RPM. So maybe let it run for an hour, put some juice back into the batteries, and the sun's coming out too, so solar will be back on my side pretty soon. But overall, pretty satisfied with the whole battery situation, and this is the first time I've had to run the engine on anchor to charge up a little bit. So I'm still here at Rippers. This is day 2 at Rippers Cove, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit about anchoring. This is a small cove, and it's a pretty busy weekend, so the best thing to do in a small place, especially a shallower anchorage like this, is to use a bow and stern anchor. So that looks like this. As you can see, everybody's in pretty tight, so if we were just swinging in full circles, then you know, you'd be overlapping a lot. There's no way you'd be able to fit this many boats in here. So if you look at our friend Mahi here, they've got their bow anchor out, and then this little line off the back is to a stern anchor, which is probably somewhere over here. And then you can see the boat behind them also has a stern anchor, pretty much tending the same direction. And same thing with this sailboat over here and the little sailboat here. Basically that keeps everybody lined up in the same orientation so that we don't have to worry about running into each other. And as you can see, I've got mine out, and it runs to probably right about there. And then, of course, the bow anchor you can't see, but it's probably in the water there somewhere. If If you're the first person to show up at an anchorage, you kind of get to set the tone. So you can not set a stern anchor if you want, or you can. If you choose not to, then basically that means anyone who comes after you kind of has to choose not to as well. If you're not the first person there and you show up and people are using stern anchors, then the proper marine etiquette would be to use a stern anchor. And if you can't, then if you don't have one or whatever, then either you need to move towards the outside where there are less boats and it's probably going to be more uncomfortable, or you got to find a new anchorage altogether, because it would be super uncool to be in the middle of all these stern anchored boats swinging wherever you want and potentially hitting someone. That is 100% your fault if you come second and then you are involved in a collision at anchor. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I've got about 7 hours still to go back to San Diego, but I want to start editing, so I'm gonna cut it here and then edit the rest of the way home so that hopefully I can get this video published for you guys sooner than 6 months from now. It's been a very long time, and I know a lot of you have been asking for more content, so it's coming. If you're watching this, obviously it's here. So this is the end of this video. Looking forward to a lot more fun this summer and big trip towards the end of fall. Well, end of summer, end of fall, somewhere in there. So see you guys soon.
Make a wish on distant stars, or a faster red car, and wait, see if it comes true. For a house on distant streets, dream of nights in softer sheets. There's beach, we'll wait, so I know you're tired. So leave it to the tide, I'm on your side. When weather's right, come sailing home, let the dark subside. Just leave it to one side, I'm on your side. When weather's right, come sailing home again. Walk the land and see the shore. Think of less and want for more. Found a way to keep the gray from blue. In a house on distant streets, someone dreams a distant beach. And waits, they wait. So I know you're tired. So leave it to